already met Blaž Porenta and Matej Jenko, and now I would like to also introduce Jure Prek. He's the vice president of design and animation at Outfit 7.
Nobody likes the vice presidents here, I guess.
I could say VP, but hey, come on, it's a good name. But you started out as an animator, so in advertising, films, and then later you worked for games as well. So I was wondering about your education backgrounds, guys. So Jure, would you like to start first? Where you come from and how?
I can. So I wanted to be an architect a long time ago. I think around 20 years ago. That's how I came to a workshop where you get better in architecture, so you can apply to school of architecture. And on that workshop, I realized that I actually don't want to be an architect. So there was a guy there who introduced me to a 3D software, and I said, "Fuck, I want to do cars. I want to design cars." And then I learned the software. It was 3D Studio Max. I did cars. I suck. Then I kind of loved the 3D software, and I just was learning it. I learned everything about it. I didn't know nothing, but I learned everything. So I need all the menus, everything. So at that point, I started to say, like, okay, is there a school in Slovenia which I would go after gymnasium? And there was no school, so I listened to my parents and I went to a construction school.
What year was that?
What year was that? Fuck. 16 years ago, or 18, or 9, I don't, yeah, a long time ago. So I went to construction because it was so cool at that point. You can get a job. And I was still modeling and learning the software, didn't know anything still. And then I started to do first student jobs because I knew how to 3D model and I knew how to render. So I did some visualization for architects, final renders and stuff like that. And then I get my first money and also my first low when I really decided I want to do this in my life. Doing 3D. Not defined yet what in 3D, but just 3D. And then when I started to get jobs, because in Slovenia, it's actually, we were all self-learners. I think I looked at Gnomon video of dynamics 17 times. The quality was so bad, it was a ripoff. I can tell this, there's no legal, okay. So it was, it was a torrent and yeah. It was a torrent and it was so bad quality that I was looking 3 times, replaying it where the mouse went. So I found the video. So that was the quality of education at that point in Slovenia. There was a couple of videos, a couple of books. I went through all of them and I learned 3D software by heart. They employed me in a local production house. And at that point, where I was a technical artist, modeler, dynamic artist. I wrote some scripts. I didn't touch animation. I was like scared things somewhere there. And then at one point, boss told me like, okay, I want to do an animated Christmas card, for us as a company. And I said, we don't have animators. So I said, yeah, okay, I'm gonna try it. And instantly when we finished that project, I'm not proud of it, but I am, because at that point I actually decided really what I wanted to do from that point on till I die. I mean, I'm doing something different now, but from that point on, I dedicated whole my life to just become a really good animator, and which meant that I had to self-learn. I was, it was hard, and then I went to school in Slovenia, where I thought it's gonna learn me something, but I didn't. And in the meanwhile, I was kind of the second generation of animation mentor student, and at that point, they really gave me that 18 months which I needed to become a good student animator. Yeah, what? So should I slow down? It's like maybe. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, animation mentor. I finished it, and then I did the first showreel. I sent it to Germany, to Framestore, to London. I got a job in Germany. Then went to Framestore. Come back. Didn't update the showreel from then on. Become a freelancer for commercials, and then I work in games. I was working as an animator. Now I'm working as a manager.
Thank you.
And yeah.
And Blaž, you already told us a little bit about
Okay,
yourself.
now my story. Yeah, as I mentioned before, I've been drawing and painting since I can remember, but didn't really know what to do with all that. It was all seems like just a hobby, and people around me constantly pushing me. You'll be a painter. They said you'll be a painter, and I knew only one painter at that time, and he was drunk, inside his room all the time, dirty, and I was like, okay, so this is their vision of me when I will grow up. And I said, no, okay, definitely not a painter, something more, prestige or something like that, which will, which sounds better. So I was like, yeah, maybe a lawyer, maybe a doctor, I don't know, pathology. That was one of my things when I was younger. And but then, yeah, since I draw and then paint through all out the high school, my grades weren't on the level for being a doctor or lawyer or stuff like that. And then I was thinking, okay, so what to do? But at that time, the entertainment industry started, to grow. So there were games, there were movies coming out, and I got to know the background behind all that, behind all just the fun playing the games, but also what to do, how to do it, and start working on mods and stuff like that for different games that came out at that time. And then also at the end of high school, I saw, I think it was 2 weeks before applying for, a study, what I want to study. And there was a giant title in the newspapers said designer of the year. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. So let's try and apply to Academy of Fine Arts and see what happens then. And the first year I wasn't accepted, which was the best thing that happened to me, because I had a whole year for myself to learn Photoshop, to learn the industry, to get my first job in the industry. And then the second year applying to Academy of Fine Arts, I was accepted to visual communications. For industrial design, because I thought that all guys that are working in games industry are coming from that background. But later on, I saw that in Slovenia, industrial design doesn't give you, the right knowledge to do so. So I changed to visual communications, studied for 4 years, but never finished it because of deciding to go into career instead of getting the papers. And that's about it.
Thank you.
I'll be brief. I finished high school in Škofja Loka, and that's my formal education.
All right.
Bravo.
You can keep it. If you had the chance to study all over again, what would you do differently or the same?
This was the question I was most afraid of. I don't know. I don't think I would go back to the same being an animator, because now I'm interested by different things. I still love animation, but probably I would do a bit more freemium game model, analytics, stuff like that. This stuff, numbers. But
It did get you where you are today.
I mean, yeah, right now this interests me working with people, but animation is still somewhere there. So I do hope that one day, I get these guys to not work anymore, and we just do a project where there's no client, where we're just pure art.
Personal project, Kickstarter. Okay.
Yeah, I would do it the same all over again, with mistakes and everything, because that brought me where I'm today.
Cool.
Yeah, I had no choice actually. I was in love with computer games, so that was the only way. And it would probably be the same. You just kind of ooze yourself into a company that makes them, and just accept everything they throw at you. So it's probably gonna be turning out the same. But I have a wish that I would actually continue my education when I'm 50, and only then I would enroll into Academy of Arts, because only then I will appreciate the knowledge that they are giving me there.
So when you don't need the knowledge anymore.
So, do you think that young artists, students that come from our academies, do they know about current entertainment industry? how it looks like, how it operates, what it requires to be a good enough artist to work in this industry. What is your experience? Because all three of you have been art directors at some point, so.
I mean, they don't get the insights of entertainment industry, but they get great fundamental skills, art fundamentals that they need to, then improve inside the entertainment industry. At least I can speak for Academy of Fine Arts here in Ljubljana. What I got from them is some great professors that taught me some basic stuff that I will. It would take me much longer, to get on my own. So it was like a shortcut to get some basics, and upon then work on yourself and try to get into your, into the industry.
Wait. So I know the other part from people coming from fine arts, because I employ a lot of people, and what they don't give you, at least I see it from portfolios, is how to actually do the first step into the industry. I get, like Jenko on his presentation said, don't do the CV with all the rewards you get, 2 pages long, because I only have time to read 2 lines. And the second thing I'm interested in is the images, which are then, we're searching for digital illustrator, and I get oil paintings, which, is something which school doesn't give you, and something that, let's say, when I was in Animation Mentor, they actually strived just for that. So at the end, you have a show reel when you can actually get a job with.
So
if you want a job.
Blaž, I have a question about that.
Yeah, sure.
Do they teach programs, that are requirement?
You mean software?
Yeah, software, sorry,
No.
Photoshop and stuff like
As
that.
far as I'm aware, they sold all the computers from Academy. That's my last info about that. But no, I mean, but also software is just a tool, as it is a pen, a brush. So it's just if you know how to use it, that you can learn that on your own. But composition, color stuff, art theory, that is something that it takes you much longer if you're doing on your own. So if you get that when you know all that, then it's easy, much easier to jump into the digital area, and yeah, just a tool at the end of the day.
The main difference with the current students is they don't ask. Nobody's asking questions as much as they should. Maybe, they're smart about it, maybe they are driven by money, maybe they want to become branded or something, but nobody's actually, not that I'm saying that you are not humble, but I see that, yeah, okay, give me your instructions and trust me, I'll do them. And rarely people actually come, sit down, watch you, ask questions. I'm not saying be submissive, for fuck's sake, but just ask a lot of questions, because this is where we actually ended up, because we were asking questions, we were curious. And that curiosity is something that I miss with the new students.
Okay, next question. Is an art degree important?
I don't care about it. I just care about the work, that your portfolio fits what I need. And if there can be only 3 images, and sometimes I employed people like him only looking at 3 images. And I said, this is enough. He knows his shit.
I mean, in terms of getting the job, no. But yeah, but if you want to continue your journey in schools and stuff like that, then the degree is important, because you won't be accepted in if you go, how do you say, postgraduate study or whatever, whatever. Yeah. I mean, if you want to continue to get schooled, it's okay. I mean, it's important to have a certain degree so you're accepted further. But to get a job, no. Nobody asked me at any point if I have a degree.
Okay, Blaž, I have another question. You liked the academy, right? So, but you also liked the online workshops. So, is there a difference between the two in the sense that do you feel? What was my question? I had a good question. I forgot it. Damn it! No, but it was. Would you? Which one do you prefer? Or are they complementary? Or
Of course they are. Without academy, I wouldn't be at the level I am today. And on top of that level, I then applied to also online schools, which only helped me, to achieve new levels.
okay.
So without that, I won't be able to understand everything they, try to teach me in schoolism, for example.
So you think it's not possible to learn that stuff?
I mean, it
by
is
yourself?
possible. Of course, it is. It's just a shortcut, if you ask me.
Cool.
If you have a good professor that works closely with you, then it's a good shortcut. So you don't need to learn all that on your own, which may take you, I don't know, 10 years or whatever, or maybe if you're a genius, only a week. But with the help of somebody that shows you on the spot, it may only take you an hour. So.
Thanks. Anytime you want to ask a question, you can. You just raise your hand and we'll give you a microphone. You can join the debate and, express your opinion.
Sorry. Also one thing, what I got from academy is your peers. You're working closely with your friends for 4 years, so that also helps you to improve yourself and get new ideas and stuff like that. If you're working back home behind four walls, it's a bit difficult to grow faster.
Cool. Thanks. That's a good point. What could we do to improve art education in Slovenia? Do you have any ideas?
First of all, try to get more industry in Slovenia. So there is worth to have schools and worth to have, you can pay good professors, which are, I always say that professors, there's good some, professors with long years of experience, but these days what I really respected in animation mentor is actually the mentors were the guys who are in the industry, so they can tell you what's happening right now in the industry. If you want to be a commercial artist at the end, if, talking about that. So they just tell you where it is, and if there's a professor, so you can afford the professor, there's no professors because there's no industry, there's no knowledge. And first of all, I think a couple of more companies which need artists would help, and
then schools would be.
I think schools would come up naturally out of that, because I know when I decided to study animation, my boss was like, "What the fuck are you going to use this?" In Slovenia, it's like, "Okay, we do jumping rubber, jumping bottles and GSM and handies. Where are you going to use character animation?" I said, I'm gonna go outside. I want to learn that." So that was it. I mean, I was lucky coming back, and then was a company here which I can work to. But it could be more companies. I think naturally schools would rise.
Employ the professors in the company for a period of 2 months. So they are also, I know that they're academics and stuff like that, but it would help to invite professors maybe for a couple of weeks on the deadline that we're dealing with. It will help them, put the topics out from that perspective to their students. Otherwise, I mean, there's no one trick to solve this. This is just a crazy idea, one of them.
Do you guys have experience with being invited to teach at schools?
I'm not going to mention this school I was going to, because I hope nobody's here, but I'm honest, I really don't respect the way how they teach. And after I finish it, they called, I was basically teaching the professor there those 2 hours a week of 3D in general. And after that, they invite me to, if I want to be, professor there, giving lectures there. And I said, yes, if we rewrite the whole curriculum. And they said no. Then I said, okay, then call me when you're ready, because it was like reading the first 2 books of a beginner tutorial, which I can read those 2 pages of beginner tutorial. I don't need a school for that.
Okay. Let me see. I have this really, really wrong question from one of our members, so bear with me. Considering there is no course in Slovenia that would offer an art education that would be in line with the entertainment industry standard, what would you suggest an art student to do? We know that there are schools abroad like Feng Zhu Design, the School of Design, the Art Center, Gnomon, and various ateliers, workshops, and online schools like Schoolism, Gnomon, CGMA, Level Up, Smart School, Animation Mentor. Wow, okay. Both options being pretty expensive for an average Slovenian student, what would you advise how to go about it? Because we know for certain that working professionals teach there and they know how it is out there. They know the industry and that that is the kind of info students need. They also need mentors, lectures and guidance from people who are proactive in the industry today. Are there any scholarships, state or company, available in Slovenia for these students to cover at least part of the cost? And there was a follow-up question, if there are any internships.
Well, this was a long question.
Yes, did you get it? Like, should I read it again?
I'm gonna try to summarize it. First of all, you said that online schools and workshops and that are expensive. Yes, they really are, and 15,000 euros for a 18 months course, it is expensive, but it's like that. If you really believe in that you want to learn that, and yes, taking into account that in Slovenia, you know, it's gonna be maybe harder because it's less industry, so you have less options. But if you're willing to do that, and even willing to go abroad to find later on a work to cover that costs, I can tell you, I paid for Animation Mentor, and when I look back now, it's just like you know, I got it back very quickly because of the knowledge. The second thing is scholarships is let's say in our company, if you show some potential, so you're like a junior or a level 2, you know, from junior, an animator, and we see potential in you, you get, the company pays you, you know, the workshops, Schoolism or Animation Mentor and stuff like that. Of course, you have to sign the contract, you know, so you stay with us, you know, normal contract, an NDA. But still, we pay that, and we have we give this to people because we want to make them better. Regarding internship, we are talking about this constantly. Just let's say in our current company is like that we are constantly so busy, and you always, if you want to get something out of internship, you need to sacrifice a senior. And currently we are still at the stage where we just cannot sacrifice the senior because we are constantly like 5 people too little. So, but it's a long goal, yeah, that you have kind of an internship which they grow and you pick the good ones.
And if you ask me, everything is an investment. And yeah, it might seem like these schools are really expensive, but you don't start with these schools, if you ask me. You start at the beginning. Then today with YouTube and everything, stuff like that, you have so many tutorials and the internet, you know, in its whole glory, how much data and stuff you find there. You can start there, learn on your own to a certain degree, get your first projects, work on those projects and with clients to get, you know, your feet wet, and then invest in schools, in workshops, stuff like that, just so you got elevated to a whole nother level, and you will get that back. It's not like, okay, you pay 3,000 euros for something, and this is money bad spent. It will get back with 1 or 2 projects if you're working well from there on. So, but people today, what I noticed, they give up too quickly. Even if they everything they want immediately. And even people that applied to jobs, even when I was working for Outfit 7, and I, you know, got all those CVs and portfolios, and sorry? Yeah, thank you. And we declined, of course, many of those people because they weren't on the level yet that we could use them. But they didn't apply the next year. They had a whole year for themselves to work on themselves, on their knowledge and stuff like that, but they never applied the next year, or they applied with the same portfolio next year. So nothing comes, on its own. You need to work on it and invest.
Just imagine that in these times, it's easier than ever to get education in this field. When we started, there was nothing out there. You saw the torrented files that Prek had to muster through. So it's actually as easy as it will probably ever get. So there's no reason that you need internship and cannot afford to start to fill up your portfolio, to craft yourself, to mold it. Come on, it's only a matter of time. 3 months and you get to a portfolio if you're good, and then just start pushing. That's it.
And I'm gonna be also really honest because I'm also the guy who looks at the portfolios. I'm first gonna tell you that yes, sometimes you miss somebody. We are all humans. It just happens. And if you then run away and don't send it again, we might miss it forever. It happened to me when I applied in Framestore. I sent exactly the same show reel after I finished Animation Mentor. I sent it there. There was no reply. There was always, yeah, we're gonna reply you back. It's like, okay, whatever. And then I met a friend and I gave him he was working in the Framestore, and I said, look, can you do me one favor? Can you just take care that this show reel is that your supervisor looks at it? Just give me that favor. I don't care if they reject it or accept it. And I gave him exactly the same show reel I sent before, and it got lost probably. And I got a call like in half a day, for an interview. So just don't give up. Just keep on trying and keep on learning and add new stuff and make yourself better. That's it.
In short, there are no excuses today. I think David said that today as well. Today we have no excuses.
No, today you have to be careful that you pick up the right knowledge that is there on the internet, because it's so much knowledge.
Any questions? Where are the microphones?
Hey, so all three of you are successful in your fields, I guess also comfortable, but do you have any like the white whale projects, like the thing you have to, like something you would still want to achieve?
Like personal?
Yeah, like
Personal
personal.
This one is going to be really funny, but I wanna make up my garden. Yeah, I wanna be dirty behind my nails. I wanna, it's funny, but yeah.
Actually, something similar here. I want to go into sculpting, and with the clay, not just and try to learn now oil painting. So a bit out of my comfort zone, but yeah, new challenge.
An idea that I have, hills are around, high hills somewhere in Gorenska region, and there is this workshop, and I can weld and I can bang with the hammers, and I can finish the book on the mythology. And of course, there are, numerous, they're piling on, but they actually just kind of, with years, I found out that they actually go out of the theme, like these two said, out of the comfort zone that we are currently in. And yes, I'm also thinking about sculpturing, man.
This is very interesting because
You can put sculptures on my garden then. Huh? I'm gonna cut it out.
Yeah, because this guy asks, you are comfortable now. You can do whatever you want. When will you do these things?
First of all, I can speak for myself. I'm not comfortable because this is something I want to say. Even though I work in this field for, I don't know, 18, 20 years, I don't even know anymore. What drives me is that even in this field where I know a lot of things, I still have to learn every freaking day. So I throw myself out of comfortable zone every day, just to be alive, just to, learn new things, challenge myself, get better in something, learn something completely new, like analytics, which is boring, but it's interesting. So stuff like that, yeah, cool.
There is an anecdote that a person should change their job every 5 years. And only when he stays there beyond 5 years, it's the job that he's incapable of doing. So you really have to actually shift all the time. And that comfort zone was not meant that we are done, right, with life. It's not. I completely agree with Prek. Just kind of poke into that one. And I'm telling you, Blaž will do the sculpturing in probably 2 years. So.
There was another question.
Yeah, so hi guys. Just feedback to Jure about how the industry has to rise to actually be able to, for the schools to actually also surface. In Croatia, they have a somewhat financially weaker games industry, yet they were able to have a private institution that has dedicated themselves to educate Unity developers, C++ developers, 2D animators, digital artists. What do you think would have to happen here, since we have the industry strength? We have financial strength. What do you think would be the direction to go to have this here?
So you're asking me?
Yes. Sorry, you were the one that mentioned
it. I really don't know. I really don't know, because what happens now, and it's a bit unfair to this whole situation, is because I have to act on the deadlines we are, on the stuff like that. So what happens now that actually we start to import a lot of people, let's say, or work freelance with a lot of people, because seems like also from countries, I don't know, we are working with one freelancer who's from Brasilia, from some, you know, village, basically. He didn't, you know, he wasn't an illustrator. He's not an illustrator for a long time, and he's really good. So that's something I also wanted to say, that I rarely, when I get a portfolio from Slovenian artist, you know, I don't see that quality. So I'm also challenging, you know, are you guys looking how the whole industry behaves? What is expected now in this industry, you know? I don't know about the school. I don't know, you know, I really cannot answer this one. I would love to have the school, but, you know, first I think we need to, there's even a private schools in Slovenia who are then half paid by the country, by the state, but that the reason why they get paid is not the reason that they make quality students, but that they just finish the diploma. And this is totally wrong. If this is not going to change, if half private schools in Slovenia, because we have them, you know, there's a couple of them which kind of learn these fields of 3D modeling or multimedia or design or whatever. But I had a really bad experience last time they asked me to be I don't know how to say it in English, to be a judge of a final exam of a computer graphics, and I just basically said, like, okay, there was 15 students, they're all 25 years old. I honestly told them at the end that they should pick something else, because at 25 years old, if you have really a deep wish to do that, you know, a lot of people already know some grounds. But then I asked, then the professor picked me up and I invited me for a beer, and I said, look, it's like that, you know, our school gets paid for out of country, I mean, state gives money if students deliver diploma. So that is their only goal, that they go through this process as smoothly as possible, that they all finish diplomas, even if they have no knowledge, so they get the money. So if schools would get paid out of, you know, how the students perform, so, or how much students get a job, let's say, after that, because, you know, then it would be totally different. Because we have private schools, but they are just, you know, really shit.
They are slowly closing. So SAE Institute is closing this year.
Sorry?
The SAE Institute is closing this year. So this is sad. I was just wanted to know, because if this trend continues, we're gonna get no schools at all.
I cannot say about SAE, but if it's similar to the school I went to, they should just close. No, really, they should close and somebody new should come because they really are actually fucking up with students. You pay for 3 years, you spend 3 years of your time, and if you're not really engaged, you know, you don't have professor there who will explain you how to animate a walk cycle or how to, you know, do a proper composition because they are not there. They're just there to blah 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 that one, and just you do the diploma, you are out. So they should just close. They should run out of students. Students should realize that they're useless, and they should just close. And maybe somebody else will come who will cherish the knowledge.
Thank you.
Sorry for being rough, but yeah.
You can also ask outside of this subject if you wanted to ask something for.
Yeah, so I don't go too crazy.
Hello. One question: can a commercial artist operate outside of his country, like neighboring countries such as Germany or I don't know, Croatia, Italy?
Can you repeat the first part of the question?
Can a commercial artist operate outside of his country?
Yes.
Yes.
As a freelance, you can work for internet.
And it was perfect, the Europe, you know, you can go everywhere with just a passport. Or even from your home. Yeah, but I didn't have that luck, you know, usually I had to work there on site. Fucker.
Oh, that wasn't me.
We have an artist there who's working here and is abroad, so. Cyril, hi.
He's hiding.
I just have one small question for Mr. Matej. You made a very good game once for the iPad, and we're still waiting for the sequel. When is Gone Wishing 2 coming out?
Jesus Christ. That was a pet project. Nobody wanted to come, you know, out of it. Yeah, I mean, well, it was set the wrong way, right? But we'll be boring people in this room if we go into nitty-gritty. The sequel is, as far as I know, not coming out, and it was just my curiosity, the one with the sculpturing and the garden bollocks, you know. I just needed a relief from advertising, from painting beautiful families holding up a product. So I said, I'm going to do an illustrated children's book. Who's out there? Right, a friend, go, let's do it. And then it did its thing. So yes, sequel is not incoming, you know. Upcoming. Oh, thank you for actually knowing that one. Thank you.
Hi. Just to return to the previous question about the situation in the industry, but what can we as artists do to improve it? Just like instead of, on top of improving ourselves, what can we do just to improve the whole industry?
Work cheaper. No. No, she's joking. I'm gonna give it to Prek.
No, I would not. It's you guys. No. Ah, because I didn't have a speech before. Yeah, okay. Start rejecting the schools which I was explaining before. Yeah, really. This is the way you can help. And how can you help the industry is also learn how to do showreels for yourself. This is something I wanted to tell, wasn't even a question, but I said I have to tell it. You know?
Please do.
I attended really good workshop. It was actually a panel in SIGGRAPH 2004, and there was a HR lady explaining about the portfolio, and it opened my eyes. You know, until that point, I had portfolios where I put everything in. I wrote a lot of takes, even at which year I was born, what's my parents' name, and you know my dog name. I was just everything, you know. My video started with a long introduction of me, like Jure, Prek, telephone number. Nobody gives a shit about that. So she said it's a 5 seconds of portfolio which matters, and if you're applying as an animator, use that. If you're applying as an artist, it's easier. Just use that 5 seconds which recruiter is willing to spend on your portfolio and just do it. Because what I wanted to say that I really get a lot of portfolios from Slovenian artists, which are long CVs with all the rewards and no pictures, applying for a digital illustrator. So this is something you should really look into it, how to do the portfolio right. You can ask me later how I suggest it, but I'm not going to explain it now, it's too long.
I'm not sure if I understood the question correctly. Please correct me if that's so. So you asked what we can do as individuals to improve. I think as individuals you can't really improve the whole industry, but you know, as many people in the same area trying to improve themselves, then the project will start to develop in that area. Otherwise, if only individuals will start popping out, they will go abroad. They will work for clients abroad or maybe just staying home and work from via internet. But you know, if there are in one area 10 great artists and programmers and stuff like that, they will find each other and they will start doing their own projects, and projects will start popping out in the same area, and then you will get the industry. And I think only that how you can improve the industry, not as individual, but you know, as a group.
So I have a question. Basically, when you're looking at these portfolios, what is the level of quality you're looking for? What should an artist be able to do so you're gonna hire them?
Well, of course, it depends on the project that you're applying to. Mostly if you know the basics. So we as clients don't need to start teaching you basics. So if that goes for, you know, creatures, characters, whatever, anatomy is the first step. Then understanding the volumes. So not everything is flat. Then the composition, colors, and so on and so forth. And when all that, you know, connects, then it's about the style. Only then it's about the style. And of course, the style is also important because if you're applying to, I don't know, a realistic animation feature that is coming out, and you're only, you know, showing them Disney style, you won't get accepted. And that doesn't mean that you're not good. It's just not the right style. So first basics, then you see if the style and the technique that you're using is suitable with the client, and that's it. And don't get discouraged by not getting accepted. Because I heard a story of an artist, I forgot his name, but in one interview he said that he sent his portfolio to around 300 people, clients and so on, and got like 10 replies. And from that 10 replies, he only get like 2 offers and maybe got 1 job out of it. And today he's working at Blizzard as a main concept artist. So it's not about you suck if you don't get, you know, as Prek said before, mails got lost. We don't have time, so yeah, we just we can't reply you immediately, and then yeah, it gets lost and so on. So that doesn't mean you're not good. It just means something happened. Keep on going if you like doing it.
It is quite obvious from any portfolio that I've checked if the thing has been finished or not, but not in terms of one, but the project. It is obvious if it's a part of a team that this was needed for, and there is a hint that the production know-how was involved. And this is the secret ingredient that I personally look for. Even if the UIs, the user interfaces, you know, the concept art, the storyboard, I see if there were, you know, mistakes already made beforehand. It is obvious. So sometimes, even if you want to show, or possibly best, if you want to hide something that you finished for a client, but it is not up to par. For me personally, if a project was owned, ended, finished, that should be put on portfolio. It's, you know, it's important to me.
One more thing about portfolios. Portfolio is always as good as the worst piece inside of it. Even if you're like emotionally attached to that piece, it happened to me as well. When I last year went to THU and showed portfolio to some of the guys leading guys from the industry, And they were like, okay, so you like this one? I was like, yeah, it shows, but it's bad. And it's old, right? It's not in the same, was not done in the same period as, for example, these 3 pieces. I was like, yeah, that's true. So yeah, don't get emotionally attached. Choose 10 best pieces, put that in, and of course, always put in pieces that are relevant to the project that you're applying to.
And always, if you can, obviously we don't look at the style because we hired Blaž, who did, all the horror things, and then he was drawing kittens, But still, if you can, that was just because there was nobody else. But if you can, focus on what client wants. If you can, with your work, just focus on what client wants. So just put one work which you think client wants. Just learn the client. They had the web pages and stuff like that. They have products. Just learn them, and if you can pinpoint what they want, with your work, that's the best thing. But otherwise, yeah.
Are we done? Okay, we're done. Thank you very much.